Columbia County News. Wherever the story breaks, wherever the news goes, Columbia County News will bring it to you. With Debbie Corsilia and Mark Johnson with sports. And now, here's Debbie.
Welcome to Columbia County News, the place for the latest in local information. I'm your host, Debbie Corsilia. To keep you in touch with your community, keep it right here. In the Scappoose City Council meeting last week, one of the items on the agenda was the adoption of a city transportation plan. However, Lone Star Northwest and others raised some objections, which continued the public hearing for further review on November 3rd.
The speed with which this map has been put together needs some time for it to be carefully gone through. And I suspect very, very much it needs to be read by all of you, not just the map and not just the staff report, but the ordinances that are built into this. Yes, there are some changes to the street standards. There are street tree strips. There's a lot of things here. And without you reading this, I don't know what's in here. I don't know how many mistakes are in here. I don't know how many real points of argument are in here. I urge you tonight to continue this public hearing for at least 2 weeks so that you can read it, so that you can follow through and see where the map works and where it doesn't work. Maybe you really do want to see this whole map shifted up on the page a little bit so the rest of the town down on that side of town is on this map. What happens with maps is that once they are created, they start looking official, and when there's a mistake on them, that mistake stays and stays and stays and stays. This map has got a whole bunch of problems on it, but it's been the official map for the city for 10 years. You need to spend more time on this huge document that has a lot of pages in it.
We also understand that the transportation system plan is only effective within the jurisdiction boundaries of the city of Scappoose. Any effort to extend extraterritorial lands use power is unlawful. Finally, the city may not readopt its airport master plan and related plans without complying with the airport planning rule adopted in 1997 by the Oregon legislature.
Was this particular issue brought up at any time at the Planning Commission meeting or any other meetings that we've been held?
No, but as you're well aware, Mr. Abel brings
the
final opportunity.
Should that all have been brought up at the Planning Commission session?
Not required.
Okay. Also, I mean, I've known about this for months, and I see the same exact wording on September 17th, excuse me, minutes as well. I'm just curious that it was not brought up at that time?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Remember, you can catch the Scappoose City Council here on CCTV Channel 9 Tuesdays at 10 p.m. and Thursdays at 4 p.m. And now a word from United Way.
Hi, this is Brian Burright, Volunteer Campaign Chair for United Way.
And I'm Suzanne Arnitz, Executive Director for Columbia County United Way.
As an employee of St. Helens Rural Fire District, I know firsthand how good it feels to make a difference in somebody's life. It's the same feeling that I get by being involved with United Way.
United Way of Columbia County has been helping people in the cities of Claskenai, Rainier, St. Helens, Scappoose, Vernonia, and the surrounding communities for 33 years. United Way volunteers fund 23 local service providers who help your neighbors in need.
When you support our United Way of Columbia County and help people who really need it, I guarantee it'll make you feel good too. It's all about neighbors helping neighbors.
For more information, please call the United Way office at 503-556-3614. Thanks for your support.
Homeless people living on the streets of Portland.
Why do kids drop out of school?
AIDS, the homeless.
Illiteracy is one of the big ones.
Teenage pregnancy.
Our country is at war, and it's because of drugs.
What's going to happen with our families?
Unemployment.
Education.
The poverty in the United States is pretty inexcusable.
drug abuse, illiteracy, homelessness. In a country like ours, it seems these problems just shouldn't exist. But we know all too well that they do. We want to help, but it's hard to figure out just what we can do. Today, there are so many different groups and ways to help. How do we know the time and money we give is really making a difference? Well, that's what I want to talk to you about today. One of the best ways we can work together to help solve our toughest community problems and help people in need. It's called the United Way. And this is how it works in your town and across America.
Well, it's an organization, and I think it's all over the world now. Our company does a whole lot with it.
It's a center to help people who are homeless.
I believe it helps people in third world countries. I really don't know much about it. I think they help in general ways.
It's an organization that provides money and assistance to a number of different causes.
You've probably heard of United Way. Chances are you've seen a public service announcement during a National Football League game, or maybe you've been asked to give to United Way. But you might not be familiar with how United Way actually works. Most of us think of United Way as a charity, and in a sense, that's right, because it raises money for charitable programs. But United Way is more than just a fundraising organization. It's a system that brings the entire community together to help people. The United Way system has been a part of American life for over 100 years. Whether it was called the Community Chest or United Fund, it has always been based on the same basic principle, that united, we are stronger than we can ever be alone. It's really a simple and effective concept. Each year, United Way runs a campaign to raise money for community needs. In many campaigns, you can designate where your money will go. But given a choice, most of us want people who really know the community to help decide how our dollars will do the most good. And that's how United Way works.
Thank you, Jim.
In each community, experts from all walks of life volunteer their time to select and monitor critical human care services. They look at the needs of the entire community, not just one or two areas. Then, based on the needs, your dollars go to support agencies and programs that make a real difference in people's lives. Daycare centers and after-school programs for single parents struggling to make ends meet. Youth centers that give high-risk teenagers away off the street and away from drugs. Family counseling programs that keep families together and strong. Literacy training that empowers people and helps them to become self-sufficient. Food and shelter for the homeless. Clinics for the elderly and disabled. Shelter for battered women, and many, many more. You give to United Way. United Way funds a wide range of vital programs and services, and these programs help people in need in your town or city all year long.
Well, I'm very impressed. I didn't realize that they help so many different organizations.
Obviously, United Way is doing a lot more than I anticipated, than I knew.
I had no idea they covered such a wide range of agencies and took care of so many of the different problems in our society today.
You know that United Way helps strengthen the community, but you might wonder how effective it is. After all, you might say, United Way is a pretty big organization. What about all the overhead costs? How can I be sure that my money really goes to these services? Well, the fact is that just about every town and city has its own United Way, and each individual United Way is a relatively small organization with a minimum of staff. That's because much of the work is done by volunteers, people like yourself, and that keeps overhead costs way down. In fact, United Way is one of the most effective charitable groups in the country and the world, getting the most out of your contribution to solve today's problems.
What impresses me most is that they get the job done.
they are very effective. They do help people, and I think that's what people want. They want their money to help people, or they wouldn't donate it.
I'm fortunate enough that I've been able to spend 3 months with United Way so that I can tell people that there is no question that the money is being put to use and that I've seen it firsthand.
So we know how the United Way system works and that it's efficient. But how can we be sure that United Way is out in front on critical issues, making a real impact on community problems? Well, let me show you just one example.
I came from an alcoholic family. I was abused by my mother and father as a child. I left home at the age of 15. My money ran out, and then I lived on the streets. I slept in abandoned houses. I slept in parks. I slept in subways.
Like many of America's nearly 2 million homeless, Albert Mills has known pain and neglect almost all of his life, even when, after more than 20 years, he returned home to visit his family.
I saw my mother when I came back home, and I knocked on the door, and I got the biggest shock of my life when I opened the door. She didn't know who I was because the alcohol she's been drinking all these years. It's really tough to come home and see that your parents don't know who you are and that they don't care for you.
48 years old, with no skills or education, Albert came to Christopher Place, the United Way supported homeless shelter. It was here that the shelter's director, Sister Catherine, recognized Albert's potential.
We take the approach of looking at the whole person. We find that behind the dirty clothes and the dirty face and the swollen feet is a person just like you or me.
Hey, Al, how you doing?
Okay, how you doing?
He was so willing to help, and one of the staff people who he was working with said, let's hire this guy, let's give him a chance.
After hiring Albert part-time, Sister Catherine soon realized that in order to become self-sufficient, Albert needed basic literacy training. So she referred him to another United Way supported program called the Learning Bank.
Put the meat on the grill.
Hey.
What? It was like really scared at first because I didn't know that there were people like myself that couldn't read or write. They pushed me to a point where I really learned how to read and write. I never really thought it could happen to me.
With the confidence the literacy program gave him, Albert now has a full-time job and, for the first time in his life, his own apartment. But he also gives back to the community, volunteering his time to tell others about United Way.
Laugh at me.
He's done an incredible amount. Considering where he's been, where he seems to be going, I think he'll continue to go far.
I'm 50 years old now, and I'm climbing the ladder. But I never forget where I came from, you know. But United Way was there when, when I needed them, and they're still there to help me.
A critical problem being solved, a person in need getting help. You may not hear about it on the evening news, but it's your support of United Way that makes stories like these happen every day. And that's really what United Way is all about. Not a lot of hype or glitz, but a system that works steadily, quietly, 365 days a year, to give people a chance to realize their full potential and to make our community a better place to live. So if you've ever wondered how you can use your time or money to help people in need, now you know one of the best ways. And for all the people you give help and hope, thank you.
Feels like I'm helping America. United Way is helping America, so when I contribute to the United Way, I feel that I am helping to solve some of the problems and the crises that exist.
I cannot think of a better organization that can address the problems that need the support.
I don't give United Way now, but I will give United Way in the future.
United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
And here's what's featured at the Columbia Theater, and for questions regarding the playtimes, you can call 397-9791. Now let's get the latest on the Highway 30 construction and a news release issued by the Oregon Department of Transportation.
It's finally down to the finishing work on the 7.25-mile widening project on US 30 between Columbia City and Warren. Crews are scheduled to make some traffic pattern shifts at both the north and the south ends of the project sometime next week, Monday, October 27th through Friday, October 31st. For the first time, northbound traffic will travel on the east side of the highway between Bennett Road and Sykes Road in the south and between Deer Island Road to the north end of the project in Columbia City. Northbound and southbound traffic will use the left lane on the respective sides of the highway. The right lane in both directions will remain closed to allow crews to continue work on various tasks. The center turn lane will also be open and available for left turns at the various intersections in both sections of the project. This traffic switch was postponed from the previous week due to weather and may be postponed again if there is not a sufficient window of dry weather to permit striping removal and restriping work. Turning on the permanent traffic signals at intersections is also weather dependent, since the new lanes must be striped before the signals can be made operational. Other activities that are scheduled to go forward next week include continued installation of drain inlets and pipes, and finishing driveways.
In a segment we call What's New, here's some of the latest breaking news bulletins from around the county.
Oregon 4-H members from Columbia and 15 other Oregon counties participated in the second 4-H Western Gaming Finals at the Lane County Fairgrounds in Eugene. Events in the gaming program are timed and require horse and rider to move in perfect synchronization, explains Woody Davis, Oregon State University Extension Agent, 4-H Youth Development Program. The Oregon 4-H members competed in figure-8 stake and key races, pole bending, and Texas barrels. Before competing, each contestant was required to demonstrate their gaming horsemanship ability in keeping with the event's emphasis on safety, Davis noted. In addition, each rider was required to wear a safety helmet. Top riders in each of the events received medallions sponsored by the Oregon Horsemen's Association and Bruce and Sharon Myers of Milwaukee. Participants competed in intermediate, grades 7 through 9, and senior, grades 7 through 12 divisions.
Fall is here, and the dogs and cats at the Columbia Humane Society need a warm home of their own. Here's Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'd like you to meet Miss Wiggles. She's called that because she wiggles her tail so much. She's a Spaniel mix. I don't know what she's mixed with. She's had her hair trimmed in the last couple of months, so it's a little shorter here. Normally it's quite curly. She's 6 years old. She's spayed. She's wonderful with children. She'd be a great family dog for somebody. She's a little bit nervous of the camera staring at her, but she's a nice dog. She's a chunky dog. She probably weighs, I would say, about 45 pounds, maybe 50. She's a nice dog, and she needs a home with some children because she's lonesome.
This is Orchid. She's a curious little thing. She's we got her on the 23rd of June. She's all black except for a few splotches of gray. She's very curious, very loving. She's purry. She wants to look at everything, and she needs a home that's going to love her and take care of her and just generally baby her. Look, turn around. Turn around.
So what do we have here?
And once again, here's Employment Specialist Jim Farrar with this week's Employment Division Report.
This week I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a program that we have called Jobs Plus, and also if you're a veteran who is looking for work. We have a program called Jobs Plus, and what that is it helps reimburse some wages to an employer. And also helps a person who is maybe trying to get a job and maybe doesn't have a whole lot of training in a specific job. They can get trained in this job and then hopefully maybe get hired on with that company or go on to another company and be able to take the training they got and be a successful applicant or employee for that employer. Basically what it does is, like I said, it reimburses minimum wage to an employer. It also reimburses federal and state tax, unemployment insurance, all the stuff that goes with an employee. So you're reimbursed for it goes for 6 months. And then in that 6-month time frame, you have the choice of either hiring that person full-time or letting them go. And if you'd like any more information about this program, please contact me at the Oregon Employment Department and I can give you some more information about it. If you are a veteran and you are looking for a job and you're having a hard time finding a job, we have a veterans representative who can assist you in your job search, and his name is Lloyd Crapo. He works both out of the St. Helens office and the Astoria office. So if you want to make an appointment with him, to meet with him in St. Helens, you need to call the office and make an appointment. What he does is he helps you either assess to see what type of training that you might need, maybe some help in resume writing or interviewing, and get you set up in some classes. He can also maybe talk to some employers around the area and see if he can maybe get you a position in a job around here. He can also help you with, if you're looking at maybe relocating somewhere else, he can help you as far as letting you know who to contact, maybe help you with showing you our computers that you can access jobs on. So if you can access jobs, so you can take a look at different areas and maybe find some jobs that you might be interested in different areas if you're looking at relocating elsewhere. And like I said, just contact him at the Oregon Employment Department, and his name is Lloyd, and he would be more than helpful to help you with your job search. I'd kind of like to go over some job orders we currently do have in our computer system at the moment. We have a cheerleading advisor, $750 for the season, and that is in St. Helens. We have a MRDD case manager, $24,281 a year to $30,990 a year, and that is in St. Helens. Transportation planner, $25,67 a month to $3,076 a month, and that is in St. Helens. And assistant animal control, that is $1,776 a month to $2,132 a month, and that is in St. Helens. We have a general labor, $5.50 an hour plus benefits, and that is in St. Helens. A concrete finisher, $10 an hour, and that's also a base rate, and that's covering Columbia County. Maybe a dump truck driver, $12.50 an hour, and that is in Columbia County. And that is a report from the Employment Department for the week.
Hi, this is Chuck Purvis for CCTV Sports. This week's been a big week in local high school sports. The only result we have in girls soccer, the Scappoose Lady Indians lost to the Seagulls by a score of 4-2. Neither the Scappoose nor the St. Helens soccer girls qualified for the state playoffs. However, in boys soccer, the Scappoose Indians lost to Seaside 3-1, but still qualified for the district soccer playoffs. The Scappoose Indians will be facing the Oregon Episcopal School at the Scappoose Middle School field on Friday the 24th. That's the first round of the district soccer boys playoffs. In volleyball, the teams had a full slate of volleyball action this week. Scappoose defeated Astoria 15-5, 16-14. Tillamook defeated Banks 16-14, 11-15, and 15-9. Clatskanie defeated St. Helens in a hard-fought match 15-10, 15-11. And Seaside defeated Rainier 15-6 and 15-11. League volleyball playoffs will open on October 30th in Seaside. The Scappoose Lady Indians will be playing the Rainier Columbians. The winner of that game will then play the second place Seaside Seagulls. That game will determine the second state playoff qualifier, and then on Saturday, November 1st, there'll be a seeding game for state playoff seeding, and that will be held in Clatskanie between the winner of the playoffs in Seaside and the league champion Clatskanie team. In cross country, the teams wrapped up their cross country season with the district meet at Camp Raialea on the 23rd of October. In the boys district meet, Rainier was first, and they were followed by Astoria. Both the fishermen and the Columbians qualified their full team for the state meet. Two individuals, Hollis Blake and Shane Willison, qualified as individuals for St. Helens, and they will be going to the boys' state cross-country meet. The other teams in the league following Rainier and Astoria were St. Helens, Seaside, Scappoose, and Tillamook. On the girls' side, the St. Helens Lions won the league cross-country title, and they were followed by the Seaside Seagulls. Both teams qualify for the state meet. Representing the Lady Lions will be Tiffany Swan, Erica McCartney, Katie Elliott, Rachel Anderson, Mallory Swan, Brianne Hurst, and Julie Mitchell. Congratulations, girls, and best luck at state. In football, there was a full slate of Coapa League action last week. Astoria came from behind to defeat Seaside 29-24 and remained tied for first place in the league. St. Helens defeated Banks 71-7. Scappoose defeated Clatskanie 36-15, and the Indians also remained tied for first in the Coapa League. And Tillamook defeated Rainier 34-0. This week, St. Helens will face a tough Astoria fisherman team on the road. And the story for the Lions is very simple. In order to qualify for state, St. Helens has to win out this Friday at Astoria, and then at the homecoming game against Clatskanie a week from today. And CCTV will be covering that homecoming game as our feature of that week. The CCTV feature game of the week is going to be Scappoose versus Tillamook at Scappoose Field. The Cheesemakers come in with a ground-oriented offense dominated by senior running back, 6 foot, 290-pound Matt Benjamin, and they're led by their senior quarterback, Brent Clump. Scappoose is coming in with backs Clayton Gary and David Morrell, both of whom ran for over 100 yards last Friday against Clatskanie. This game is critical to both teams, and the winner is going to be assured of at least a tie for first place in the Coapa League. We urge you all to get out, and if not, tune in during the week for the replays of the game on CCTV. This is Chuck Purvis for CCTV Sports. We'll be back again next week.
Well, that's it for this edition of Columbia County News. We want to thank you very much for watching. I'm Debbie Corsilia, inviting you back next week for more news from around the county.
I see changes in America, and I wish I could say it was for the better, but it doesn't feel that way to me. I see more violence, more intolerance.
Church bombings, spray painting of swastikas on buildings.
When I heard about the Oklahoma bombing, I cried. So many innocent lives taken to bomb or do violent things. That's no way of changing. People are really going way too far.
It's okay to criticize the government, but it's not right to overthrow the government.
When you commit acts of violence that harm other people, you're over the line.
Let's fight the fear together.
I'm Nancy Federici. So, this is your neighborhood. Do you know the kids around here? Do you know your own kids? Children imitate what they see, and parents are the strongest role models for their own kids and for others. You can be a good role model. Avoid drinking, smoking, and drugs, so your children will too. For more information, contact the Commission on Children and Families at 397-7211. Parents,